So we have yet another fantastic tactical recreation. We're at Aston Villa, and you know what that means, guys? The master tactician, Unai Emery. Since Unai Emery took over at Aston Villa, they've gone from strength to strength, finishing in 7th in his first season in charge, going on then to finish in the Champions League places, having a very, very good time at Aston Villa. Even though they've had a difficult start this season, they find themselves slowly but steadily creeping up the Premier League table and even doing very well in the Europa League. This is the tactic I've been looking forward to making. Being an Aston Villa fan, I thought it's only right that we get this out there for all you guys to enjoy. But before we go on to FM, we're going to do the usual stuff. We are going to head on to SofaScore, have a look at how the team plays together, and also have a look at each individual player heat map. So once again, guys, you know the drill. We can get a much better understanding of how they're going about their business on the field. So we are on SofaScore. We are using the Burnley game so we can get a bit of a benchmark of how we're going to set this tactic up on FM26. But basically, when they are out of possession, they will be playing a 4-2-2-2. Narrow. They don't mind giving up the space in the wide areas. The team will sit very narrow. When you watch any highlights of the Villa games, you'll see people building up out wide and people are saying, where's our fullbacks gone? They don't mind dropping in, sitting in, and we can put cross into the box. We're going to get it out. We've got Pau Torres, we've got Konza, and we're very, very good at defending our own box. Regarding the midfield, you've got Kamara and Bogard. They both tend to sit in and shield the defence as Luca Dean and Cash will go forward. They are attacking wing backs. They are a little bit more expansive in their play and they like to get forward. And that's where Unai Emery looks to get the width down the wide areas with them kind of players pushing forward. When it comes to Rodgers and McGinn, they'll both start off very, very narrow centrally. But when the ball is under Aston Villa's possession, they will drift out a little bit wider, sort of turn it into a 4-4-2. You've got Watkins at the other end that can run the channels, and also Donyell Marlin offering something a little bit different where you can get the ball into his feet, he can turn, he can run, and it can cause problems for any opposition on their day. So we are going to set it up as a 4-2-2-2 narrow, out of possession, and then we're going to be a little bit more expressive when the ball is under our possession. So Matty Cash and Luca Dean, this is where a lot of good stuff happens for Aston Villa, and Matty Cash may not be as expansive going forward as Luca Dean. You can see on the heat map, Luca Dean likes to get forward a lot more, trying to get near the opposition penalty box. Matty Cash tends to be a little bit more conservative and will look to cut back inside and feed the ball into the middle of the park, where we will be able to have numbers and maybe even get a switch of play over to the left hand side where Luca Dean will be given an option and will be bombing on forward. So we can see Luca Dean as a wing back pressing forward as much as possible, and Matt Cash being still a wing back but a little bit more conservative in what he's doing. So with the two centre backs, Pau Torres and Ezri Konza, what you'll see from Villa is they always play a very, very high line, really not too far away from the halfway line, which sometimes baffles me because we get hit over the top a few times, but that's the way Emery does it. We like a high line, and we're going to see them looking to bring the ball out from the back. Both of these players, especially Pau Torres, will get the ball into feet. They will drive forward. They will look to move in to the midfield before then releasing the ball. They have got two very, very good ball carrying centre backs. Both the DMs for Aston Villa on this occasion, Bogard and Kamara, but of course they have got Tielemans, they have got Onana to sit into them positions as well. They're both very much sitting just in front of the centre half. They will go a little bit wider because once again, Luca Dean and Matty Cash will be getting forward. So you'll see Kamara and Bogard offering a little bit of protection as the wing backs bomb on. Now the attacking midfielders in John McGinn and Morgan Rogers. We're going to start off with Rogers. He will have a little bit more of a free roll. He will drift from left to right. But when the ball is under our spell, you will see these two getting a bit wider, turning it into that 4-4-2 as we're going forward, looking to support Dean or Matty Cash in the wide areas. But expect, like we've just said, for Rodgers to have a little bit more of a free roam. He's a magical player, been a little bit off form as of late, but can deliver moments of absolute magic. And the same goes for Super John McGinn, the captain, the heartbeat, the engine of the Aston Villa team. What a player, and a very, very talented attacking midfielder. If that might be biased, being a Villa fan, I don't care. They are absolutely superb. So I think we're going to see two attacking midfielders, one on a free roll, Both of them looking to get wider to support our wing backs as they go forward. The two strikers in Marlon and Watkins. We're going to start off with Marlon first. Two players that go about their business in a very, very different way. What I do want to see from both of these players is, though, both running into the channels, looking for that ball over the top. But if you can get the ball in to Marlon's feet, he's electric. He will run at defenders. He causes problems. He's fantastic with the ball on the deck, but also got the speed to really cause problems in behind. And the same goes for Watkins, really. You can ping a ball over the top. He will chase until the cows come home. But also, if you fire it into his feet, he's very good at holding up the ball and maybe even linking up play with Rodgers or Luca Dean bombing on down that left-hand side. This tactic is very, very complex. Now, out of possession, it's simple. 4-2-2-2. When in possession, there's so many changing parts and it's a very expansive setup, very complex. You know, Unai Emery, the master tactician, the sort of little cogs all in this big machine we need to try and nail down. But what are the key principles we need to follow to nail this Unai Emery tactic? The first is we play a 4-2-2-2. The second, we need to make sure we play slightly more direct. Number 3, we need to be disciplined and very good defensively. And last but certainly not least, we have to make sure we get the very best out of our wing backs that will be bombing on forward. So this is my interpretation of the Emery setup at Aston Villa. Take it as you like, because I'm sure other people have got different interpretations, but that is in an out of possession setup there. We'll have a look at the combined overview shortly, but starting off with the goalkeeper, Martinez is going to be just a ball playing goalkeeper. Nothing added to him, nothing changed on there. On the centre halves, we've got Pau Torres on the left as a ball playing centre back, and he's just going to literally get the ball, release it to his wing backs, maybe play it into centre midfield, just the simple stuff. But we've also left his passing strategy as standard because we know Pau Torres can ping a really good ball direct out wide or maybe even over the top, which we've seen many times for Aston Villa. But partnering him is, of course, Ezri Konsa. We've got him as an advancing centre-back. He will get the ball into his feet. He will look then to drive up towards the centre midfield before releasing the ball. But he's definitely very, very good with the ball at his feet. On the wing-backs, though, Matty Cash, we're having him as a play-making wing-back. Now, we say this because I don't want him going too far forward into the attacking sense like Luca Dean, who we're looking at shortly. So a playmaking wing back, he will get forward, will start off wide, but then look to cut inside, similar to an inverted wing back before then releasing the ball into the playmakers in the middle of the park, whether that's Rodgers, whether it's John McGinn or Kamara, whoever it may be in the middle of the park. He is going to create chances and get the ball flowing down the right or even centrally for the field as well. Now our wing back left is Luca Dean. We've got him a little bit more advanced compared to Matty Cash. We know we want Luca Dean the quality to deliver balls into the box and also start off attacks down that left hand side, linking up with Rodgers. So Luca Dean, we've got him to stay wider. We want him hugging that touchline, and the same familiarity through this sort of team is the passing strategy is all going to be mainly standard because I want people to have free roam. Like we keep saying, if there's a short pass on, we play it. If there's a long ball, we've also got the option then of playing that ball over the top. But in the two centre midfielders, we've got Boubacar Kamara and we've got Onana on this occasion. On Kamara, we have got him to stay wider because Luca Dean is going to be slightly more advanced. So we want a little bit of cover in that wide area, and he will be able to slip in and fill in a gap there while we are on the front foot, looking to hold his position and break up play if we are to relinquish possession. Partnering Boubacar Kamara is Amadou Onana. He is just going to be sat in as a DM, nothing altered on him. I was umming and ahhing whether to put him as a staying wide, but I don't really think we're going to need to because we have got Cash not really being so expansive, so he will be able to get back and do a job. But I'm sure Onana will fill into that role if he needs to when we're going forward. Into the attacking midfielders, when we're out of possession, you can see there Rodgers and McGinn. We've got a pressing centre midfielder and a screening centre midfielder. They will be dropping in very, very narrow, and we're going to, of course, look at the team instructions a little bit later on in the video, but we are going to force to play out wide because we are very, very narrow in what we're doing. But when we're attacking, we want to get our attacking midfield centres. They are going to progress towards the wide areas, looking to build up play. then I've also got the option to cut inside and get any support from the fullbacks where necessary. But starting off with Rodgers, he is going to stay wider when we are in possession. We want him dribbling more, but he's going to have the licence to thrill. He has got that free roam set on. John McGinn on the opposite side won't have that, but Morgan Rodgers, really sort of like a Jack Grealish role, has the ability to interchange positions and cause a hell of a lot of problems for any opposition. But like we said, McGinn on the other wing is going to stay wider. He's going to dribble more. He can put his big arse out, sort of shield the ball and bring other players into the fold, but he is going to be supported by Matty Cash as he progresses towards the halfway line. He's even going to cut in centrally as a playmaking wing-back will do there, but also we've got the support from Watkins and Marlon up top as well. But these two won't be scared to get crosses into the box and pass it into space at the earliest opportunity possible. Now the strikers, we'll start off with Donyell Marlon. We have got him set as a channel forward. We want him moving into them channels, ultimately looking to link up play. But we know the qualities, we know what he's capable of when the ball's at his feet, hence the dribbling more. And I want to make the most of his forward runs and the quality he has with the ball at his feet. So I think we will get the best out of Donyell Marlon playing a channel forward. But with Ollie Watkins now, we've got him as a target forward. A target forward looks to use their physicality, height, and they tend to sit on the last line or sort of on the shoulder of the defence, which is really, really good because he will then be able to run in behind and he'll link up play also very, very well indeed. We haven't changed anything on there. We want him to have the option to hold the ball up if it comes into him, which he can do, and in turn then bring in Rodgers or Luca Dean into the fold, or maybe even slipping Donyell Marlon as he runs into the channels. So that's the in possession, but when we lose the ball, you can see us dropping in. We have got Watkins as a tracking forward to get back and help his defenders. Then we've got Marlon set up. I want to leave him up there as a centre forward, so we have got the ability then to counter. You will see Rodgers and McGinn dropping in then centrally into, like we said, a screening midfielder and a pressing midfielder, sitting just in front of Kamara and Onana, who will both then at that point be sitting a slightly wider. We have got both our wing backs a little bit more advanced. We've still got some cover in the wide areas. And of course, then we've got our big, strapping, superb centre halves to fall back on in Torres, Konza as well. So I think it's going to work really, really well going forward. We're expansive. We're going to get an extra body in the middle of the park if we need to. Cash can cut inside and build up a little bit of play. And maybe as Watkins sort of drops into this gap here, we'll be able to link up play very, very nicely indeed. Now, it looks good there. I don't know how it's going to work actually in the match engine. But regarding team instructions, when we're in possession, we've got the whole lot set as shorter. We're a control-based team. We want to try and dictate terms, dictate tempo, but we don't want to be scared of playing more direct if the opportunity arises. Hence why I've left the passing strategy on each individual up to them. So if we've got that long ball on, we will use it. Regarding tempo, we're going to be lower. We want to be patient in our play. So we really want to take our time and look to pick the right ball at the right time. The attacking width will be wider. Like I said, we've got the ball. We start to stretch the play. When we're not in possession, we sit very, very narrow indeed. The attacking transition, we're going to hold shape. That goes hand in hand with how Emery sets up his team, being very, very disciplined and tactical aware of what's going on. Hence our creative freedom is be more disciplined. When we're out of possession, our line of engagement is going to be sat at a mid-block. We want to try and compact the field as much as we can. We really keep our high line as often as possible, which you can see there. We've got a higher defensive line. Now, the defensive line behaviour, I'm not going to tinker with this because we do tend to step off, but we also drop back when we need to if there's a long ball about to be played. So I think balance gives them a little bit of free will, a little bit of free roam to do what they've got to do, and hopefully they're smart enough to make the right decision. But we have got a very, very good defensive back line. Regarding the press, we will be triggering the press more often when they do sort of encroach up onto the halfway line. And the transition, we're going to regroup. When it comes to the style of play, we know Unai likes to get men back behind the ball or shut up shop, lock down the opposition, like you've seen against Man City in that recent win. We defended very, very well. We was disciplined, we were smart, and we got bodies back. We regrouped, and then we built up play again. But once again, very exciting manner. So we're seeing a much different approach this year from Villa compared to when we had the likes of Leon Bailey, Moussa Diaby. We had that lightning counter-attack speed. We don't really have that anymore, so we've had to sort of tweak how we've played. And once again, the Magician Emery's really nailing it so far this season after what was a slow start for us. So that's the instructions set there. Overall, we have got a couple of other things added on. We are going to try and trap the opposition out wide. That's what we do. We play narrow when we're out of possession, and we'll also invite crossing into the box because we will have numbers back to be able to clear the ball. So that's hopefully how it's going to work. But if we go back to the team shape now, if we click combined, that's how it's going to look overall. So it looks good to me. It looks very good on paper. But we're going to reiterate once again how it's going to work actually when we simulate this season. I couldn't tell you until we run it, but it's a strong team. I'm really looking forward to trying this tactic out now. Hopefully it works an absolute storm for you and for me today. If you do want to get this tactic at the end of the video, I will make it available to download for you guys as well. And there's actually one thing I do want to mention before we simulate this on now. It is that we are on a balanced mentality. We don't tend to play too defensive. We don't tend to be too proactive at the same time. We will sit in. And like we said, we want the players to have a little bit of free will, and balance works very comfortable with the individual player roles and the setup we are running. But this is a tactic I've made, like you can see there, from a clean slate. It's not a preset, and we'll run the simulation on and see how we get on. We are involved in Premier League, FA Cup, Europa League and the Carabao Cup, so we'll see how we fare across all 4 competitions. So you've seen the setup, you've seen the player roles. There's only one more thing left to do. It's simulated on. Hopefully, keep these cross guys. It works. We could have created an absolute banger of a setup, or we also could have created an absolute monster. So the season simulation has been completed, and I can hear you screaming at the screen. How did you get on? How did you get on FM Rage in all the competitions? The FA Cup wasn't kind to us. We got eliminated at Anfield in the 3rd round. The Carabao Cup wasn't very kind to us either. We got Man City in the quarter-final at the Etihad. We went out 3-2. But in the other 2 competitions, the Europa League, we only went on to winning on penalties against VfB Stuttgart. We did finish 2nd in the league phase and had some very close games along the way in the knockout stages, but managed to get to the final, get the job done, thanks to a very impressive performance from none other than Emi Martinez, Dibu, pure shithousery, the world #1, but a much deserved trophy, which of course meant qualification for the Champions League, which is nice. But in the Premier League, they wanted a top half finish. We exceeded that. We finished in 6th place, 69 points after 38 games, and it looks better than what that table's telling us. We only lost 7 matches all season. Now, we wasn't that great regarding goals scored. We only scored 52. There's teams below us that scored more. Palace, Newcastle, Everton scored a lot of goals. But where we was key, look at the goals conceded. Only conceded 36, which is right up there to being one of the best in the entire league. So this disciplined setup we've really implemented, this Emery masterclass, it's worked wonders at the back. If only we could have been maybe a little bit more clinical going forward. But when you're looking to be disciplined and smart at the back and slow and patient in your build up, you have to sacrifice the amount of chances and probably goals scored and rely on more 1-0 wins or really close games. But overall, a very successful season. Regarding possession, we was up there. We was actually finishing on 55% in 7th. Not really a million miles behind there, with Man City dominating at 59%. I don't really think we can expect to see much regarding the way of goals, which we are not. We're down in 11th, goals per game. Sat in 11th as well. So we know we was clutch defensively, and that's why we joint 2nd there. Joint 2nd with Arsenal and Chelsea regarding goals conceded. Over on the squad, some of the key players was both our strikers, Ollie Watkins and Daniel Marlon, and also Matty Cash. There's plenty of really good performers in there. But what I'm intrigued to see now, regarding goals, we got a lot out of our strikers. 23 for Marlon for the season, 21 for Watkins, even 14 from Evan Gassand, Roger chipping in with 11. On the assist side of things, we're up there. Whether it would have been Luca Dean at left back or it was Ian Maatsen, you can still see Luca Dean in there got himself 5 assists. Maatsen's come in, got himself 9. And Matty Cash from wing-back right, playmaking wing-back right, 3 goals, 8 assists, not too shabby at all. I think we've seen the very best out of this Villa team with this setup, and we're really seeing how the players have blended together. It's come together really, really nice as a unit. Across the whole campaign, there wasn't really any massive thumpings. We did lose 3-0 to Arsenal at the Emirates, which is there. That game didn't perform too well, and we lost 3-0 at Anfield in the league. So a couple of fairly heavy defeats there. What was concerning towards the end of the season, the amount of games played, it looks like the team was fatigued, and the only game they come away with was a penalty win in the Europa League. But we went on holiday. Maybe they just rested some players. I'm not too sure. Well, they might have, because they've got people like Boyd playing there. But overall, a very, very impressive season. So, me being a Villa fan, and you other Villa fans, I tell you what a season that would be. Would you take that right about now? Absolutely. European glory. It's been a long, long time coming. Hopefully we can get it. But before we go anywhere now, we are going to have a look at some of these goals, how they were scored, how we looked on the field from the overview, and maybe, just maybe, we can see where we've really kind of clicked into gear. Right, we are going to use the highlight away at Fulham here in our 1-0 win. And what you're going to see straight away is the high press, our high line, and then the press in the middle of the park from Gassand, from John McGinn. But what is key here, we win the ball back. Who's cut inside there? Our playmaker, or playmaking wing-back even, Matty Cash. He will go forward, he will get towards that halfway line. Obviously, he might not go as high as Luca Dean or Ian Martin on that left-hand side, but when he does, he's offering the extra body in the middle of the park. Now, he will look to play this back out to John McGinn on the right. He'll play it out wide. We know our wingers are trying to stay a little bit wider, trying to stretch the play when we are in an offensive stance. The ball goes over to McGinn, drives forward, cuts inside. We've got Marlon there, dropping back a little bit as well as a channel forward, dropping into a little pocket of space, picking the ball up, finds Gassan, who's in that Ollie Watkins role today. What is Ollie Watkins going to do? He's going to hold that ball up, look to switch the play, and maybe potentially get it out wide. And Gassan switches the ball to Martin. We've got a 2-on-1 situation. Rodgers then will look to dribble more, which is what he wants to do. He wants that ball into his feet. He wants to be one-on-one. But we did have a 2-on-1, but Rodgers now comes up against their defender, cuts to the byline, going to cut the ball back now. We've got numbers in that box now. 3 players in a dangerous area. We've even got Matty Cash lurking on the edge alongside Yuri Tillemans as well. But the ball comes across and it's 1-0. A really well-worked team goal. But you can see exactly what happened there when Matty Cash really started that play off. So from progressing and coming centrally a little bit more into the field. So the winner here at St James's Park, we built it up from the back. We was patient, waiting for the right opportunity. You will see Watkins dropping again now into the pocket of space to get that ball back. But as Marlon shifts it, we get a give and go now. So it's back to Lindelof. And I said, we want these players to have free roam. We want them to play it short, but we also don't want them to be scared to ping a ball over the top. And this is what we see here now. So if we roll this on, Lindelof pops a direct ball over to Rodgers. Great switch of play. We've got that one-on-one situation. We may even have an overlap if Garcia could get forward to support. But Rodgers, one-on-one, will beat most people in that situation. We've got numbers in the box again. Ball pulled across. It's a bit of a pinball in there. But Marlon was there to tuck it away on the 82nd minute to give us a very, very important 2-1 victory away at Newcastle. Now, the final highlight we are going to look at now is away at Nottingham Forest and a 2-1 victory. This build-up here was all about that patient approach, finding the right pass at the right time. We don't need to force the issue. We don't need to try and do that. And we play absolutely perfectly now. So if we just run this on a little bit now, you'll see a patient approach in the middle of the park. Some really neat interchange of play. You've got Rodgers on the ball, back to Onana now. But this is it now. So we've got a triangle on the field. We've got an out ball here, which Rodgers has sucked Milenkovic over to him. So once again now, Marlon has a one-on-one situation. We'll have the beating of Murillo. But we've also got Kamara. We've potentially even got Matty Cash looking to slot into there now. So if we go forward now, Rodgers will find Marlon. Back to Rodgers, a lovely little interchange of play on the edge of the box. He's in on goal and he will chip it past the goalkeeper. But we are seeing with this setup the amount of numbers we're getting forward, but we're not just throwing men forward randomly. They're going forward at the right time. We want to be defensively solid, and we've proved we could be across the season. So when we do lose possession, don't fear, guys. We might have plenty of men up top, but they're quick enough to get back and protect their goalkeeper and protect their goal. I think over the course of that simulation and the highlights, it definitely gives you a basic and brief understanding of how the Villa players, the Villa team, go about their business under Unai Emery. Some really tidy, neat interchange of play, some good goals scored, but the main thing was discipline. We've nailed that. We don't concede many goals. We didn't really lose too many games across the entire campaign. In my opinion, absolutely, Unai Emery tactic, we've done an absolute job well done. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please consider smashing that subscribe button and giving the video a like. It really does help push this out to all the people that aren't seeing FM Rage's absolute magic FM26 content. But until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you all soon.